Okay, guys, I'm going to do a video on market percentages. This question gets asked to me a lot purely because people do not have any idea. Now, the importance of market percentages, okay? I think it's critical purely because when bookmakers overload their markets, all right, you're basically behind the eight ball because you're getting ripped off. Now, I always describe it like this. You walk into a shop, like let's just say you're going to go buy a pair of shoes, and you've got a pair of Nike sneakers. You've got one for 120, you've got the exact same pair for 150. Which one are you going to buy? You're going to buy the one at 120. That, to me, is the best way to describe market percentages. Now, I'm going to go to a screen. Now, this is for me to show you exactly how to calculate a market percentage. If you want to do that, you can. It's entirely up to you. All right, but it's important to know exactly how high it is, because obviously the higher it is, you need to find a bigger edge. All right, because you've got horses that should be $10, they're now $7. You've got horses that are $20 that should be $30. That's why it's critical to know exactly what a market percentage is. A lot of people don't have to do this exercise. I'm going to give you the equation to do the exercise if you want to do it. Another thing with market percentages, corporate bookmakers do not show you their market percentages unless you go and buy an odds comparison service. I personally use dynamic odds. Dynamic odds is like $35 a month. I'm not pushing them. It's what I use. There are many of them out there. This is the one that I use. I find it easy. I find it simple. And, you know, it is very, very critical for me, because when I'm actually trying to have a bet and I'm playing in a higher market, I need to say, well, this is going to be a betting race or a non-betting race. I'm going to flip over to a screen and I'm going to give you the calculation for you just to have a look at and what it all means. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, so this is obviously dynamic odds. Okay, so over here, you've got all the bookmakers across the board. This is the ones that I've personally put into my chart. I don't need to use a whole heap of them. I can add as many as I like. And it's not that overly important how many you put in there. Some people only have 10. Some people have got 5. It's entirely up to you. Right, over here, obviously, it's the corporate bookmakers. This is their fixed price. Right, 150 to 1, $3.20, 150, and you just keep working your way down. Now, down here is the market percentage. What that means is they've converted all these prices from a decimal point and they've put it into a percentage. You'll see over here, when you convert all these prices and you convert it into a percentage, right, you've got the 123%. That's what that is. That's what you call the market percentage. Now, in a fair market, we all know that a fair market is 100%. They do not give you 100%. Some markets, especially the early prices, some of them are 135, 140. I've seen markets at 160%, overseas markets, that is. There are some races, there are a lot of future races in Australia that are 160, 165%. So for the people that are betting early, you are playing in such a terrible market. The higher it is, the worse off it is for you. Right. So how do you get to these prices, market percentages? It's a simple mathematical equation. Pull out a calculator. You get the decimal point price. So basically, if that's 150 to 1, we all know that 100% is a fair market. So you go 1 divided by the decimal point price. So it's 150. So go 1 divided by $150 gives you, I think, 0.66. Then you multiply it by 100. And you keep working down. Then you go here. For instance, $3.20. 1 divided by 3.20 gives you whatever it is, 0.35. Multiply that by 100, and then there is your percentage. Then you tally it up. Now, this particular market, when you tally all this up, that equates to 123%. which means that the corporate bookmaker close a race. Do you remember closing and opening is completely different? When they open, we know it's higher. Obviously, when it comes to the jump of the race, they reduce it, which means the prices inflate. Okay? And then you might get the value, or you might still not get the value. Right? Now, people ask about what, the critical point of market percentages. Well, in my opinion, it's extremely critical. And if you don't know what it means, all right, like I said at the start of this talk, then you're basically getting ripped off. Right? So before you even actually put a bet down, you are playing in such an overloaded market. Right? And that's why with my system, okay, I don't play in big overloaded markets. I just stay away from the race. If I don't get the value on my runners, the race is a pass. I hope everybody can understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, please send inquiries. Okay. And we go to the next video.